Welcome back to the Review Space Clash of Champions. September 25th, 2016 is in the books. This is going to be my review of Clash of Champions WWE pay-per-view last night, Sunday, September 25th, 2016. So let's begin right away. New Day came out with brand new t-shirts. It says Who in it. I mean, I don't know how long they've had these t-shirts for, but they look brand new. I haven't really seen them wearing these. It looks pretty colorful. Whoo, whoo! You know, you got the typical popular catchphrases they've been saying for a long time. They ended up going up against Gallows and Carl Anderson. They defeated Gallerson to retain the WWE Tag Team titles. And now they're going to get at least 400 days with this championship reign. As of today, it's 400 days, which is absolutely nuts. I didn't really expect them to hold a championship this long. And this makes them one of the longest reigning tag team champions of all time. Kofi, in this match, did some sort of somersault dive to Gallows to the outside, which looked really risky. I mean, he just kind of just did a little twirly flip thing, and he just landed like crashing down on his ass to the outside floor. It just looks so dangerous. Xavier hit Anderson with Francesca, what the hell is that, a trumpet? In a blind referee spot. Basically, the referee wasn't looking. New Day got the finish, 1-2-3, winning the match. In this match, some of the crowd was audibly, you could hear them booing the New Day, and they didn't want New Day to win. They actually wanted Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows to get the... And I think some fans are just sick and tired of New Day. You know, they're just sick and tired of them. They don't want them to win anymore. They don't want... Not win, but they don't want them to be the champions. They're probably sick and tired of the act. They're tired of them just coming out doing the same catchphrases and the same thing over and over again. They've been really entertaining, but for a whole year, it's like, let's try something a little bit different. I don't know how long they're going to hold the titles for. Who's going to take it from them? Maybe Gallows and Anderson get it at a rematch sometime in the future, because they've been getting a huge push, as far as the tag team thing. They got the cereal thing, they got merchandise is off the hook, but I don't know how long they can maintain this New Day thing. It feels kind of old now. Brian Kendrick tapping out to TJ Perkins for the Cruiserweight Championship. Perkins' entrance, this was noteworthy. His entrance theme was some kind of 8-bit NES 80s video game music. Very tinny, very MIDI sounding. Something like that. Which is kind of weird, it's a little different. But it makes it stand out. Kendrick, he gave TJ a headbutt at the end. They went for a hug and some kind of what the fuck? Congratulations. I can't pronounce it properly. Congratulatory type of thing. Giving him a hug, like, oh yeah, congratulations to you, TJ. You won the match, good for you. But then he gave him a headbutt. Typical heel fashion, that was great. And some people in the crowd cheered for Brian Kendrick. I didn't expect him to win at all. I mean, obviously Perkins was going to retain it in this first match, first championship match. There's no way that Kendrick was going to just defeat him right like that, but it is what it is. The Cruiserweight division, I think, is it's really not as hyped and exciting as I thought it was going to be, because they changed certain things around, especially that first Raw when they came in, the 4 guys came in, and I just hope it gets better, and I hope that they focus more on it, they give them more storylines and shit like that. They give them a better time slot, because the Cruiserweight worked back in WCW in the 90s, because they would usually open up Nitro on Monday night. They would open up the show. The crowd was really into it, and they were on fire, and they had a lot of great moves that nobody has ever seen before. So it was a big novelty. Now, I mean, pretty much everybody does dives, I mean, everybody's mentioned this before, but everybody does dives, everybody has their own high-flying moves. Seth Rollins, the Usos, everybody has high-flying maneuvers. So, these Cruiserweight guys, unless it's somebody like Will Ospreay and Ricochet, we're not going to see anything that's too different from the normal high-flying stuff that we would normally get from people like Neville and Sin Cara and those other guys. Cesaro and Sheamus have their 7th match to conclude supposedly conclude the 3-3 tiebreaker. They go back and forth in a competitive match. Cesaro, he did a very risky dive where his head basically hit the floor, and it was really reminiscent of Lita back in the day diving at Trish Stratus back in the mid-2000s. I think it would have been late 2004 when they had that match. She injured her neck. It was just really brutal to watch, and this was the same way. This looked so ridiculously dangerous. It looked unnecessary. I don't know what the hell. It looked like his fucking leg, like his ankle, touched the top rope a little bit, and like it grazed it, and so he kind of, I don't know, like fell forward. But that looked really, really messed up. They fight to the outside of the barricades. Sheamus heading back, basically looking like a weak, like, bitch, basically. And the match was a no contest. There's no clear winner here, so it looks like they're either going to have another match to, like, really conclude it, or they're both going to get some kind of championship match in the future. Sami Zayn taking on Chris Jericho. They have a long match, a lot of near falls at the end. Chris Jericho hitting the surprise codebreaker when he was, I guess, was lying down in the mat, and then Sami Zayn kind of leaned in to kind of pick up Jericho, and Jericho just jumped up and hit the codebreaker, got the win over Sami Zayn. Charlotte going up against Sasha Banks and Bayley. She defended her women's title. The women were given a lot of time. I found a lot of the matches actually were given quite a bit of good time. There were some great spots, a lot of near falls in the match, particularly Charlotte with her moonsault on both Sasha and Bayley. That was very impressive. She has a really clean, a very clean looking moonsault. It's like picture perfect. It's so safe looking. The crowd was really getting into it, and then Dana Brooke interfered somewhere at a point where it looks like Charlotte was about to get pinned. It sort of killed the energy and basically ruined a bit of the vibe. You know, the crowd was really into it, and then after Dana interfered, that was kind of the downfall of the match. Charlotte hitting the boot on Bayley. God, I guess that's her new finishing move now. That stupid nature girl boot thing that she does. It's just a big boot. I mean, it really is. It doesn't. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like her new finishing move. Oh well, whatever. It's a quick move. It's one of those quick, like, offensive type of moves that she can hit out of nowhere. She got the win here, and she retained the championship. Yeah, that's what I expected. I didn't really expect Sasha or Bayley to win it at all, so they're just gonna keep feuding with these three. And then I guess with like Dana Brooke, she's probably gonna get into the mix a little bit later. She's probably gonna get like title shots for the women's the belt. We get a recap of Nia Jax defeating Alicia Fox at the pre-show before the pay-per-view started. It was a pretty good back-and-forth match. Actually, I ended up watching it. Alicia hit her scissors kick on Nia Jax at some point, but she couldn't get the pinfall. Nia hit the Samoan drop finishing move, and she was able to score the win over Alicia. It wasn't a bad match. You know, Alicia, I feel so freaking... I feel kind of bad for her, but at the same time, she's been employed for WWE, in WWE, for like 10 years or something like that. Or the better part of 10 years. So, I guess in a weird way, it's like, it's how she was able to maintain such a long career in WWE. A lot of these girls don't last a long time. From injury, or they get fired, they get released after like 2 or 3 years, 5 years. But with Alicia, she's still in the company, she's still doing her thing, and she just doesn't have a lot of matches. She's not really used that often on TV. So, in a weird way, she's been able to not get injured because of that. She's been able to stay safe, or stay safer than some of the other girls that's like maybe constantly working all the time. So, I don't know. I mean, she's a beautiful girl, she's really pretty, and she looks great. I just don't know what's going to happen. Like, Alicia Fox, I don't think she's ever going to be into the Hall of Fame. Like, they're never going to put her in the Hall of Fame. She doesn't have this legendary career. I mean, maybe they will, just because she's a former Divas champion. She is a former Divas title winner. So, I mean, she does have that one little win back in, I think like 6 years ago. But her career has pretty much been, like, really forgettable and empty. But it's nice to see her. Roman Reigns defeating Rusev for the US title. At some point, Lana pulled the referee. during a pin attempt by Roman, and she basically got kicked out, in that comical way where the referee is like, "Get out of here, you're out of here," at the point of the match. So that was very, very fun to see. The crowd was chanting, "Let's go Rusev, Rusev sucks, let's go Rusev, Rusev sucks." And then you can tell, like, the pro-Rusev, the people that like Rusev, were clearly coming from the males, the adult men. And then the anti-Rusev, the people that didn't want Rusev to win, was from the kids and the little kids and the women, because it was more higher pitch. And then when they started chanting, "Let's go Roman, Roman sucks, let's go Roman, Roman sucks," the voices were basically reversed. So the adult men were saying Roman sucks, and the little kids were chanting, "Let's go Roman." This was a decent match. Not bad. It got exciting, especially at the end. I mean, Roman Reigns, man, he's had some pretty decent matches. He can have pretty good matches with a lot of these guys. And Rusev, got to give a lot of credit to Rusev too. I'd like to see him in the title picture someday. I can see him as WWE World Champion or Universal Champion or whatever. I can see that now. Maybe they just have to change certain things. I don't like his theme music. I think his theme music sucks. It's too stereotypical. It's too generic. It's dun 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 dun. It sounds like a shitty '80s theme song, or maybe it's almost like from a movie from the '80s, like Star Wars or something. It's just not a very modern sounding theme song. It doesn't have an oomph to it. It doesn't have a modern feel to it. But I can see him winning the main championship someday if they push him the right way, if they make him a little bit more serious, a lot less stereotypical. Enough with the hyper nationalistic thing where he's got to be a Bulgarian brute and machka, and he's got to say all these different words in his language. He just comes across as way too 80s, and he's got to be more modernized. Just tweak his gimmick a little bit, make him a little bit more modernized, and yeah, he's got everything going for him though. Kevin Owens defeating Seth Rollins to retain his title. A lot of shenanigans went on. Chris Jericho interfered ringside. The referee was knocked down. Stephanie sent out a new referee. Rollins was caught with a pop-up powerbomb. It seemed like he was distracted a lot of times in this match, and then the match basically ended in a typical, like a clusterfuck kind of thing, where it's just a lot of things going on, a lot of distractions, a lot of shit. So I can imagine Seth Rollins is just going to keep bitching towards Stephanie. He's going to keep fucking getting angry, and he's going to keep whining about it, and it's going to be like Stephanie was, I don't know, like she was always behind it, she was always with Triple H. Some shit like that. They're trying to build to something. I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. Overall, not a bad pay-per-view with some very good matches here and there. Everybody basically retained their championships except for Rusev, and some of the outcomes were kind of disappointing, just in terms of, like, yeah, we didn't really want him to win. It's not really a big deal to me because, like, Chris Jericho, he's really popular. The New Day is still really popular. Even Roman Reigns, he gets a reaction from the crowd. So it's really not a bad thing that they won, but I think that many of the fans wanted them to lose, or they didn't want him to win, they wanted the other guy to win. So there's still this air of kind of disappointing, but not really. Okay, so we got some news. Seth Rollins seemed like he may be injured during the match with Kevin Owens at Clash of Champions. It appears like the injury happened when Owens hit a rather gruesome-looking gutbuster off the top rope. Seth Rollins then continued to favor his ribs throughout the entire match and looked as if he was in a lot of pain. Rollins was holding his ribs as he walked through the curtain, and right now it's just a rumor because nothing has been said about it from WWE. The Rollins-Owens feud is expected to continue, and it's looking like they will have a rematch at next month's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view if Rollins is not injured legitimately. He's probably selling it. I would think that he's selling it, according to this news article. I would probably think that he's just selling. I can't imagine him fucking getting injured again. I just don't want that to happen, but you just never know. They tend to sell a lot of injuries now. A lot of like, oh shit, is he really injured? So they're doing that a lot now. So I would just imagine it's just a work. It's just part of the fucking show. So that's it for this episode of The Review Space. Check out the channel for more videos, subscribe, and all that good shit. And until next time, peace.